What's up guys, CyberHoudini here and welcome back to the Daily Dose of Gaming. It is the 9th of August. We're already nearly halfway through August already, Jesus Christ. Well, we got a jam-packed day for you. Lots of news coming in, breaking news, some delays, some good news as well. But yeah, it's gonna be an awesome one. This is a brand new week. We got new games coming out. We're gonna be finishing up a couple of playthroughs. Very nice, hell yes. I'm excited, I hope you guys are too. Thank you for joining me. Welcome on in, grab some popcorn, grab a seat before they're all taken. Good God. Hello, how's it going, Unstoppable? And how's it going, DPG? Hello. How you doing, man? You back from your vacation? I hope it went well. I was playing Max Payne. I was. It was fucking awesome. We got to play through it. We'll be going through the whole series. I want to play through Max Payne 2 as well, the fall of Max Payne, and then Max Payne 3. Celebrate the 20th year anniversary for that. Hell yes! Alright, let us get straight into the news. I find I spend too long at the intro of these and we don't get into it. Alright, we're going to start off with the news for today. Horizon Forbidden West delay seems all but guaranteed now at this point. So we got a report from Jason Schreier over at, I think he works at Bloomberg now, but he used to be at Kotaku. But usually he's pretty good with the inside stories. And, you know, if something changes, we'll find out, but it's all but confirmed right now. I mean, it's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's starting to kind of prove how basically we haven't had the release date, we haven't had too much about them. Like, if this game is planning to come out in October or November, where the hell is the marketing besides that one trailer? So, we'll see, you know. Sony, there is a rumor that Sony will be doing some kind of event in August. We'll have to see about that, hopefully. We know that Gamescom is coming up, but Sony don't usually do a whole lot there, but Xbox usually have something. But either way, you know, it's important to give these devs the time they need to bring these games out, and a lot of people are still kind of screaming, looking for a PS5. And I know Horizon Forbidden West is coming to PS4, but I think, you know, you'd want to play it on the next gen. Completed Max Payne in 59 minutes. That's awesome, dude. GG's. Turned 25. Yeah, happy birthday, dude. Happy birthday. I hope you had a great birthday. Double vacation. I love it. Nice. Yeah, so your first kind of initial reaction to delays is always like, oh, come on, I really wanted to play that. But if you think about it, you know, we've had a lot of releases that really just shouldn't have happened because they were pushed out way too early. So, you know, in the long run, it's for the best, you know. And if this delay happens, the most it's going to be is probably like maybe 4 or 5 months, which is not that bad, you know. We'll see. Like, it might end up a situation where Sony won't have a giant big release for the holiday season. You know, that's not out of the realm possibility, because you can have this kind of thing that happens where after the first year, the launch year, the games can kind of just, you know, you've already got like 5-6 games coming out at launch. So the next big exclusives can kind of trickle out a little bit, you know what I mean? Like, Xbox haven't really even started with their exclusives. And PlayStation have tried to do their best to kind of space them out with Returnal and Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, of course, you know. So yeah, there's still plenty to keep us very, very busy. And this holiday is definitely not short for video games with Halo Infinite, Dying Light 2. What else we having? What's the other game in October? My brain is gone. Damn it. I don't know what that was. But it'll come back to me in like an hour or two. It's always the way. So yeah, I will see. Like, obviously we have to wait till Sony give the official word, but it's all but given at this point. Man, tell me about Double Vacation. Yeah, that was very, very nice. Very lucky. GG's. Alright, cool. So, on to the next little piece of news. I thought this was very cool. For any Xenoblade Chronicles fans out there, I think there's definitely a whole host of new fans now, thanks to the character being added to Smash. It really does boost. Like, I went from trying to pick up the definitive edition of it, and now you just can't get anywhere. It's becoming like a miniature collector's item. It's very hard to pick up at just standard price. Oof. So it's pretty cool. So basically, one of the voice actors, we know that Monolith Soft, who have been working on the last couple of Xenoblade games, are obviously working on something else, you know, and the fact that they put out the definitive edition of the first game, the second game is selling very well, and then you've got like the DLC as well. So one of the voice actors basically has said, yeah, it's all but confirmed, you know. They always go like, I don't know if I'm supposed to say that. It's kind of like how Tom Holland does his leaks with Spider-Man. It's like, oops, was I supposed to say that? But the fact that they create like this whole kind of leak environment around it usually drums up more hype because everyone feels like they're discovering a secret. It's what Ubisoft used to do with their Assassin's Creed games. They were like, oh, this just happened to see the game running on a laptop on a plane heading out of China and all this nonsense. It's like, what? There's too many degrees of separation. It's all just bullshit. So with this, it's probably our first little details of a Xenoblade Chronicles 3, which would be pretty cool. I mean, they've definitely set the series up as a trilogy. I would personally love to see them go back to the other Xeno games, because they're all kind of set in their own universe, you know. Obviously, they started with Xenogears. I would love to see them bring that back. And where I kind of jumped into the series was the Xenosaga games. I love those. They had like German names on them. It was all about like crazy AI and mechs, and I was heavily into that stuff around that time, you know, like the early 2000s, and you couldn't stop me, like from watching Evangelion to Ghost in the Shell to playing Zone of the Enders. It was unreal. So I'd be happy to see them bring back any of that kind of stuff, but I think the way things are going with Xenoblade Chronicles, they want to kind of keep it right there for now. So that's completely fine, but that's good news. I wouldn't say this game is close to being released, you know. It's probably a summer, maybe next year, or even further, you know. A lot of games are being kind of pushed to 2023 now at this point. I definitely see that as the chip shortage continues. But Sony have said they've secured enough to get them through nearly like 25 million PS5s. So they are out there. You just gotta be mindful. You know, it's still, you might think of it being a lot, but it's still a supply constraint. Magnolia, thank you so much for following. Appreciate that. Hello, how's it going? Restless. Hello, Fire Lily. How you doing? I don't know what's going on lately, but something's going on. That's like the fourth person named Magnolia. I don't know who's fucking around or what. I don't know if I'm being botted, but I don't know what's going on. Anyway, weird. I think the accounts are getting deleted immediately because it's not showing up on Twitch. So whatever that's about, can you please stop? Thank you. Thank you. People try and do these things as a nice thing, you know. But trust me, you're only gonna get like Twitch investigating the channel or some shit. Anyway, on to the next piece of news. Really good news as well. We're going to get a brand new South Park game, which is awesome. I don't know if you guys have ever played any South Park game, but trust me, they're all fantastic in their own way. I grew up playing South Park Rally, which was pretty damn special. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. It was just a really like Mario Kart knockoff game. It was so funny, and it had so many jokes from the series, you know. Even the like little kind of, I don't know, I was very young playing it, you know. I shouldn't be playing it, so a lot of stuff kind of went over my head. But all of the powers you have usually, you know, like your blue shells and your bananas and all that in the Mario Kart, they were all like little nods to the show in South Park, like from throwing random stuff at each other. But it was pretty cool. I really enjoyed it. I loved unlocking all the characters as well. Like you'd even unlock like Damien, and you're sending turkeys after each other, and the underpants gnomes. It was so funny. So yeah, so we had a good few South Park games at the time. You know, there was the chef game as well, but then they kind of disappeared. But you know, over the last, like, I think it's probably going on nearly 10-year-old now, but we got the South Park The Stick of Truth, which was from Obsidian, that made, like, you know, Fallout New Vegas and The Outer Worlds, and it's now working on Avowed and that. So it's really cool. I still think that game is like the perfect South Park game. It's a light RPG, never gets too heavy, just full of references and great jokes, and an awesome little story. And then they made the sequel, The Fractured Butthole, which went a little more strategy based. It was still kind of 3D based, but they made it a little more strategy. It was still very fun in its own right. It did feel like a sequel to Stick of Truth, adding in all the stuff. So it sounds like they're working on another game, but Fractured Butthole was made with Ubisoft, and we know what's going on with Ubisoft, so I doubt Trey and Matt want to get involved with any of that nonsense. So it sounds like they're going to make the South Park game in-house, whatever that means. it usually means they'll hire like a porting studio or like someone like Sumo Digital or Saber Interactive or something like that, and they'll work on it. But it's really cool. Apparently, they're after getting a massive budget, like $900 million or something like that. Hello, Amid. How's it going? I'm doing good. How was your weekend? How was everybody's weekend? But yeah, apparently they're after getting like $900 million to make like obviously more seasons of the show. Something like a random number came up. It was like 14 movies or something, which I don't like the sound of that. But I think they're really going to start going hard into their whole like the little South Park MCU thing they got going on, the little coon and stuff like that. So we'll see. I'd be just happy to get more games. There was one little caveat in the games that they said was basically it went in the South Park universe, or in the South Park world, and to me that could be a bad sign. But we'll see. You may end up getting like weird little spin-off games just centered around one or two characters. Yeah, set in the world of South Park. But just long as... Now, they did say it was a 3D game. That was the most important part, because obviously there's been a lot of mobile South Park stuff, and yeah, less said about that, the better. Those games are kind of one and done, you know. Little people get addicted to them, and I get that. It's fun while you're on the toilet, but, you know, it's not something you're going to remember in a few years' time. That's the issue with mobile games. Very little of them are memorable. They're addictive for the while, but still. Anyway, so I would love to see that. It'd be nice to kind of round out that trilogy as well. The Stick of Truth. The only thing with Stick of Truth, you could tell they kind of ran out of time. But they made great jokes, like the whole Canada just being, you know, one little screen. But you didn't get to do much up there. So I felt like, I was like, oh. So we'll see. We'll see where that goes. It took them a long time to get Stick of Truth. It must have took like 6-7 years. It was just in development hell for ages. And the same with Fractured Butthole. You know, Trey and Matt would come up on E3 and have a little laugh and that, but it was clear that they didn't really have much to show at the time. It's always exciting, but when you're 3 or 4 years out showing off a game and coming out and announcing it, people can definitely forget about it pretty quick. Weekend was okay. Vacation's over. First day back. Oh, how was that? Hopefully, do you know what? I see in America, I know it's not good to us, but in America, they're really trying to push for 4-day weeks. I think that'd be great for everybody. Mental health, or at least what they should do now that like things are kind of sort of going back to normal. Everybody should have the choice whether to work from home or even do half and half. I like the idea of like 3 days working from home, 2 days working in office. I really like that. But I hope you're doing well today. I appreciate you guys coming in. We're going over a little news of today with Horizon Forbidden West. And we talked about Xenoblade Chronicles 3. And now a new South Park game. Let's see, getting ready to play Genshin. Very nice, very nice. Very nice. What's the... I think I've like said up 60 or 80 wishes now. What's the next character to come out? I need some good characters. I'm trying to get Hutao. She's like the Halloween girl. I'm trying to get her. She's kind of cool. She's kind of dark. I like it. Alright, cool. On to the next little piece of news, we have Xbox announcing their Gamescom show. This is what I was just talking about, how Sony doesn't really go to Gamescom. But Xbox, apparently they're going to be showing off some stuff there. Mostly indie games, it seems. They're going to do another one of their ID at Xbox with Twitch, where you'll get to be able to play a whole lot of indie games. It's nice that they're doing this. I don't expect to see any new games, maybe some new indie games, but everything else is pretty much under wraps since E3, you know. And these, like I said, these kind of trailers and gameplay instances usually can, you know, take up to 3 or 4 months of development just to make that little demo that we see. So it's a lot of time kind of taken off, basically, you know, that you could spend on the full development. So, you know, as much as people rag on CGI trailers, I don't mind. If it means they spend more time polishing and fixing the game, then hell yeah. Hell yes. But at this point, Gamescom, it's not really the best place, but it would be a place to announce the Halo Infinite release date, because it's getting a bit long on the tooth now at this point. But recently people have played the Halo Infinite beta, the insider beta, and it sounds like there's very, very good reports. They also announced that, we don't know if it's confirmed yet, but they said that Halo Infinite, someone had found on one of the stores that it was going to be something like 96, 97 gigs. So it's a big beast of a game for sure. This is what I was trying to tell people. I'm like, you got to think of it like Breath of the Wild. It's way more open world. Like, I played a lot of open world games where the sizes are actually, you know, smaller because it's one giant chunk that's loaded in. You get me? So when people had a bit of a bad reaction to the first showing of Halo Infinite, they've obviously gone back in and, you know, tidied up and done a lot more development. And that's what you get. You get your 97 gigs. If you want those 4K textures in an open world game, you know, you had fucking Breath of the Wild running at 540p. It's not easy. It's not easy. But it just goes to show graphics does not make a game good alone. You know, it's the whole complete package. And it seems like the multiplayer Halo Infinite will be like standalone, free to play. Which is cool. It just goes maybe like how many people will actually play the campaign. That's the question. Everyone taking it rather chill. Nice. I love that. It's like everybody's in zombie mode. As long as the bosses are, hopefully they don't even come in. That's all that matters. Speaking of Hutao, I found a little teapot that was drawn by someone with her team. Oh, that's lovely. Yeah, I love Hutao. Everyone says she's a big weirdo, but I love her. She's awesome. She runs a funeral parlor, and she's got this cool little ghost friend. I like it. I unlocked her event thing, and it was really cool. Anyway, on to the next little piece of news. Random as hell, but we have more news from Duke Nukem. I feel like every couple of months, news from around Duke Nukem pops up all over the place, and it cracks me up because I would love to see him come back. Now, people did make a very good point that can Duke Nukem survive in the Snowflake generation, you know? Where Duke Nukem was always very crude and crass, misogynistic, you know? I mean, you're throwing money at fucking strippers in an old, like, Doom ripoff game. But that's what made Duke so good. It was just good, silly fun, you know? Fair enough, he reinforced a lot of stereotypes around video games and gamers in general back then. And obviously things have moved on now, but I think if done right, it can work really well, especially if it pokes fun at itself. It's always felt very satirical anyway, you know? And, you know, look, the way, like, Wolfenstein's gone and Doom is gone, I think it's time to bring the king back. Hail to the king, baby. I've always liked Duke Nukem. Duke Nukem is just, like I was talking about Exhumed or Power Slaved in the US. I mean, these kind of Doom knockoff games, or Doom-lights, whatever you want to call them, they were fucking special. There was something cool about them, and they're all kind of coming back in their own way. I love that. Even the Doom, the remasters of the old games are doing fantastic. But apparently they wanted to do a prequel for Duke Nukem, Duke Begins. Now, I don't know if this would have been helmed under Gearbox, because Gearbox owns the franchise right now, and they actually tried to put out a game, Duke Nukem Forever, and it's highly known to be like a piece of shit. And it kind of was. They were, I don't know what they were going for. They wanted to add all these weird kind of gimmicks in it. There was a bit where you shrink down and you're going around in a weird little cart and all this. It was a very strange game. Didn't feel like Duke Nukem at all. So yeah, I'd love to see that come back in some fashion. But what happens was once these platforms kind of get, you know, they get basically shut down. What happens is a lot of the developers, they'll go to their LinkedIn or wherever they need to go, and you know, all that hard work they don't want to see gone, so it's still part of their portfolio, so it does end up on the net a good bit, and that's how we found out a little bit from this possible prequel. But I don't know, sometimes I wonder about these as well. Like, I've seen a lot of this stuff happen with like Batman games and Superman games, and I always feel like they're secretly trying to gauge interest, so this stuff almost gets leaked itself. I would love to see Gearbox have another crack at it, just anybody, you know. I prefer someone else, obviously, but Gearbox own it, so it is what it is. But at this point, like, we need someone working on these games, because Gearbox, I can't believe like a game like another Duke Nukem got canned, but they put out a game like Godfall, which is just so generic. Oh Jesus, that does not look good at all. Yeah, they've been desperate to try and make these games move over. It's like a fucking on-rail shooter. This is just a concept piece, though. This wouldn't be real gameplay. It looks like one of those mobile games, right? Yeah, be concept piece. But I don't think over the shoulder would work too well for Duke. No, you gotta keep it first person. I think what's wrong is a lot of these developers think that, you know, FPS and all these things move on. You know, they're like, oh, no one likes it's all about over the shoulder Uncharted stuff. And that's not true, you know. Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal has proved again and again that if done properly, these genres never die, you know. You just do it. Like, even Doom Eternal got a little bit platformy for my liking, but I think it actually worked really well. After a while, I kind of got used to it, and they sprinkled it in just about right, you know. It was never felt detrimental to the game. I enjoyed it. But yeah, a lot of these games like that are known to be first person, they don't tend to do too well with the transition. This is why I'm deathly scared of the Dead Space remake. I'm so afraid that they're going to make that first person. In the sense of like horror, it would work pretty well, and I'm just worried like with, you know, games like Outlast that's done incredible for the horror genre, and now Resident Evil following in its footsteps going first person. Yeah, it just makes me think like, will we see other stuff go first person? Damn, he's actually swinging the Eiffel Tower at him. That's so funny. Hell yeah. Hey, Scooby, how's it going, man? Hell yeah. We're just talking about little Duke Nukem there. Duke Nukem. Did you ever play Duke Nukem back in the day? Let's see. Speaking of Huta, that one coming from Genshin's official YouTube page, Yonmiha. Is that her name? Yomiha. Yomiha? Yomiha. Yomiha. I never know how to fucking say the names. She's the one who does the fireworks, yeah. I can't believe how many pyro characters there are. They need to get on with some other kind of characters. So many pyro. I have like 8 pyro characters now. But yeah, Amber has been sadly really bad for a long time, so it's time to make her better. Or what they should do is go back and reinvent some of the old characters like Kaya and Amber, you know, and Barbara. Barbara badly needs like a little transformation. Any Fortnite players or fans out there? Do you see Ariana Grande had like a concert in Fortnite? I thought that was really cool. I mean, obviously we've seen a couple of concerts before. It was heavily leaked a good while back, and I didn't really believe it at the time. I'm like, jeez, Ariana Grande has a little more substance than that. Well, obviously not. But I mean, it's not a bad thing. She was probably paid like fucking 8 figures to do that, you know. And it's huge right now. Huge. Alright, so we got a new announcement for Game Pass. The game Humankind is coming day 1 to Game Pass. There's a lot of, I think there was like Humankind Odyssey as well. There's a lot of these kind of games that have similar names, but they're completely different. This one's closer to Civilization 6 or Civ 6, rather than like that, what was it? No, Ancestors Odyssey, where you play as like this ape that kind of evolves over time. But yeah, it's cool like how many things are going to Game Pass now. It's unreal. I'm getting to play a lot of games thanks to it, so I'm very happy about that. How is Scooby? Scooby has been in hospital. That sounded like you got a rough going, dude. Hopefully you're feeling better. Over the shoulder, like Halo. No, yeah, that would, like, over the shoulder would be Uncharted or a Dead Space. So first person is when you can just see the guns. Dealing with this injury. It's an industry. Yeah, hopefully you're feeling better, dude. Square Enix got one of their newer games leaked. It looks to be a card builder game. We'll see what they'll do with it, but yeah. It has one of those quintessential Square Enix Japanese names. Far too many words in it just to describe a game, but there you go. It's called The Voice of Cards, The Isle Dragon Roars. And after Final Fantasy Origins, Strangers of Paradise, which is the one game, like, then someone needs to fire the guy who's making up these names. My god. This is what I was saying about putting like subtitles or having your name, your game too long, especially if it's the first in the series. It just confuses the piss out of people, and they just end up shortening it. Look at PUBG. PUBG was Players Unknown Battleground, right? Now it's been shortened, everyone calls it PUBG. But here's the thing, calling it PUBG has become so popular that now they're changing the name to it. But they've done a stupid thing, and now it's going to be known as PUBG Players Unknown Battleground or something like that. So it's like PUBG. I'm not even messing with you. It's so weird, but I think it's just their way of trying to lock down the trademark for the PUBG, basically, you know. But it's, if you think about it, it's actually just spelled, you know, it's abbreviated PUBG, you know. But we've just somehow managed just to call it PUBG because pubs. So you'd think they'd put like a little thing in the middle. Anyway, it's all good. On to the next little piece of news. We have some EA, some good news from EA. They actually seem to be on an uprise, but you know how EA is. They give you a little bit of good, so it washes down all the bad. But basically, they've had a earnings call saying that they are very happy with Jedi Fallen Order and will be investing in the Jedi Fallen Order franchise, as they call it, whatever the fuck that means. So that's either a good thing or a bad thing, but clearly it means we're definitely going to get a sequel. We may even see it a lot sooner than we think, possibly even like next year or something, maybe for the following year release, like 2023, but we'll see. Respawn did an amazing job. It's probably one of the more fun Star Wars games since Star Wars The Force Unleashed. So I'd love to see them, but the way they've spelt Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, the subtitle is after Jedi, as you can see there. So it kind of means that there's a possibility that they could put something else instead of Fallen Order, you know? This is the beauty and the double-edged sword of putting like a little subtitle in your title, you know? Ba-bum, ba-bum. Dying Light 2. Yeah, Dying Light 2 is going to be fucking amazing. I'm so happy. Stacking with cryo characters. I really have... Yeah, there you go, see? Who did I just get? Oh yeah, I got Bedo, is that her name? Bedo. D-Lock. Fucking Yang Fei. I don't know, all the names. Gotta play something? Yeah, when you get back on your feet, are you still kind of doing your thing on Instagram? Hell yeah. So yeah, that's really good news. I just worry about EA being in control of anything got to do with a franchise, because they tend to sink it into the ground. But yeah, it is weird. I don't want to like jinx it or anything, but it's odd. EA is kind of making some weirdly good moves, besides usual crap with FIFA and all that. But I've been saying it for a while now, but Square Enix seem to be making a lot of the right moves. I mean, Activision Blizzard is all but dead at this point. They'll never really get their reputation back. People still play the next Call of Duty and the next Diablo. That's the way it is, but anyway, it's just the way it is. Things will never be this. And World of Warcraft is all but dying, you know? Every day there's new shit coming out about this guy or this guy. It's crazy. And you've got the big streamers who the developers of World of Warcraft shat on all the big streamers who basically made their game, you know, people like Asmongold. So when he moved over to Final Fantasy XIV, they were awfully fucking quiet then, as all of his fans and everybody playing the game to play with Asmongold moved over to Final Fantasy XIV. So fuck the loss, you know, if you don't treat your people right and you're just overall scummy people, karma will eventually get you. It's as simple as fucking that. And thank God all this shit has come out about them, because hopefully no one else will have to suffer at the hands of Activision Blizzard for sure. Fuck those dudes. Alright, next little piece of news. We have some awesome news about Hellblade, Senua's Sacrifice. If you haven't played Hellblade, I don't know what you're doing. You gotta get your hands on it. It's super special. It's now getting a next-gen update, which is awesome. It's also celebrating its 4th year anniversary. Nothing announced for PS5, sadly, yet, but so far Xbox X and S are getting a beautiful next-gen upgrade. You're gonna have you know, high-resolution modes, ray tracing, all the bells and whistles. So it's super cool. Hellblade is owned by Ninja Theory, who is now owned by Xbox. You know, they make games like Enslaved, Odyssey of the West, which is the classic Heavenly Sword, that Devil May Cry game that no one wants to talk about. They're a fantastic studio, so this might just be Xbox going, let's put some money into this kind of thing, you know. But we'll see. I think it is available pretty much on all those platforms, so hopefully they'll all get the bells and whistles too. It's probably just Xbox going, we'll get it first. They like to do that stuff. Obviously, we're hotly anticipating the sequel, Senua's Saga, which is probably still a long ways out. Ninja Theory are not the biggest studio, you know, they're not small either by any means, but I would say they're more like small to mid-size. But after the Xbox acquisition, I know that they're expanding. They've just got a new studio. They're working on 3 games. They're working on all these cool psychological experiences as well. It might not, you know, ring like crazy fun for everybody, but think like some of the games they've been showing off remind me very much of Quantum Dreams games like Detroit Become Human and, you know, Beyond Two Souls and Heavy Rain, that kind of stuff. It really makes me feel. How's it going, Lacuna? Welcome on in. Welcome on in. Happy Monday. I hope your weekend was good. YouTube on bullshit. Yeah. YouTube has just fallen off when it comes to people just doing gaming videos. It is absolutely fallen off. I've seen a couple of of my friends come back to it, and it is a disgrace. So yeah, it's like it's almost like if our content didn't evolve, yeah, YouTube just said bye bye. So yeah, everybody, what's really doing huge numbers over there right now is true crime. I'm seeing people get upwards of 20 million views on some of those videos. True crime is doing insane. What else did I see? was taken off. I can't remember now, but it was some things just are like that, you know. I should start a rerun. Yeah! Oh, it's so worth it. It's a short enough game as well. I actually just recently played it myself just to get the rest of the rune stones to get the platinum, and yeah, it's pretty special. I'm hoping the next game will kind of, it's clear that Xbox bought the studio to have it like, you know, their God of War basically. So I hope it does kind of move in that direction. Just not necessarily with the combat or anything, but just maybe the freedom would be nice. Because ironically, you've got that over the camera view for Hellblade, where it's a little bit stiff, and the newest God of War kind of went backwards and did not give you that kind of control. You were very much always stuck behind Kratos. It ended up being for the better. It didn't impede combat or anything. It's still fantastic. But it was interesting how close the two of them started to feel. In terms of story-wise, I still think Hellblade told a more personal story. I think what God of War did was amazing as well. It humanized Kratos. But if you didn't gel with the little kid, I can never remember his name, it kind of drove you up the wall after a while. They're both great games, and I don't really want to pit them together. True crime do be kind of good. It really is. It really is. It's very odd how addicting it is. I can't help myself. I even watch a couple of Irish people do it, and they're doing very well. They kind of ham up the Irishness, Lacuna. You probably know what I'm talking about. I try not to do that. I try not to rely on my Irishness at all. You know, I don't even have it in my name or anything. But I see it. It's nothing wrong with it, you know. Everybody loves an Irishman. But when you do it every other sentence, it kind of drives me up the wall. But it is what it is. It is what it is. Shaman King is... What's that? What's Shaman King? Is that an anime? I was watching a couple of new things on Amazon. I watched... Was someone talking about Palm Springs? Someone was talking about that movie? I watched Jolt. I was talking about that. It's like Crank with Kate Beckinsale. It was okay. So it's not really like Crank at all. Crank is way batshit insane. What else did I watch? Oh yeah, that Cruel Summer. Cruel Summer, which is kind of cool. That looks, yeah. Playing God of War, and I can agree, Atreus is kind of not. Yeah, it's up to how you feel about it. I think it's just in combat. What was wrong with me, Lacuna, was that I fought a lot of the Valkyries as you encountered them, and the game kind of is like, hey, come back later. But I just, yeah. So I end up being like hours and hours of Atreus just shouting the same shit. So it kind of went through me after a while. It's all good. It's still a fantastic relationship. I just worry about that series because it's clear, like, it's not spoilers or anything, but it's clear they want to pass the torch there. It's usually when they bring in children anyway. So I would worry about that, you know. Because there's something about Kratos, like, he always was just anger, you know, personified, and he never had much depth to him. But that was the beauty of it. He would say not that much, but say a lot by saying little. And they even kind of went for that in the newest one as well. Like, he really was just this giant, imposing figure, you know. You couldn't even feel any kind of like paternal vibe from, you know, like fatherly vibe at all. But no, it was there. He was just a hard ass. But you could see why. It's incredible storytelling. So I am excited for the next one. We'll see. Like, I think all it is Atreus is going through that kind of awkward phase. We'll see. Or he could end up being angsty fucking teen like Dante from Devil May Cry, and everyone's like, fuck this, I'm out. So we'll see. They've gotta walk the tightrope with that one. I know recently in the last year or so they hired Alana Pierce from IGN and Funhouse and all that. Like, she's come on as a writer, which is kind of cool. I like that. Yeah, she's pretty cool. So, you know, it's better to have these writers that are a little more switched on and actually play games, rather than these writers who are actual, you know, writers of books and things like that. They can be a little bit in their own bubble, and kind of blowing smoke up their own ass with their own writing, and you can see that in a lot of stuff. I noticed that in some of the newer Tomb Raider games. I'm like, oh, okay. Where they kind of just they lose touch with the characters that way. They set out and they write a story that it's almost could work with any, you know, any character, whether it's Lara or Kratos or anything like that. And that's how I always feel they don't work. If you have a story where you can just pluck the main character out and it won't make too much of a difference, then you have an issue. You have not written the story for that character then at that point. You've just written a story because it sounds cool. Has anyone watched any of the new movies yet? Anyone watched the new Suicide Squad or Free Guy? Anyone watched any of those movies? I'm hearing great things about both of them. James Gunn, I think, has always been a good director. I really think he made one of the best Marvel movies with the original Guardians of the Galaxy. So I have no doubt that he probably is going to make one of the best DC movies. He just pops over. Like, you've got all these fans going at it trying to kill each other. And he's like, yeah, I'm just going to go Marvel to DC, to DC to Marvel. Fuck y'all. Because that's what he's done, right? He's gone from Guardians of the Galaxy, flew over, did Suicide Squad, and now he's doing Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. He's awesome. That's a true fan right there. He's like, fuck, I love comic books. Simple as that. Shaman King was an anime I used to watch as a kid. Cool. I read the manga at the end, which was a much better ending. Cool. Alright, nice. And they're going to put it up on Netflix. Nice. God, Netflix is becoming, like, it's no Crunchyroll yet, but Jesus Christ, they got some nice anime on there. I heard the delayed pushback Stranger Things season 4, and I'm hoping it'll be like the last season. I think it's a great show, but they would have built it up as the final season. But maybe 5 might be a nice round number. I just don't want them to go into like 6, 7, 8. I know it's their money maker, but oh god, you can really milk a show. Anyway, boop. That sounds cool. The Valves are after game stuff. Yeah. No, I went straight in there and I spent like 2 hours on one boss. It was insane. It was one of those like deer in the headlight moments where I just couldn't read the pattern. I was so stubborn, I just brick walled it. And that's when I fall asunder. But yeah, I'm excited this week. Right after the Daily Dose, we're going to do some Mass Effect. I might actually finish this story for Mass Effect 1 today. It'd be nice to just put that to bed. Obviously, we'll be doing Max Payne. It's so hard to say those together for some reason, my brain. Max Payne 2, I think we'll do tomorrow. Wednesday, I'm going to be getting the second vaccination jab. So, I don't know what way I'm going to be. What I plan to do is maybe try and get a stream in on the Wednesday before any symptoms hit me. Or we'll see. We'll just see. All I can do, I'll let you guys know. Just make sure and follow me on Twitter. That's where I'm most active. I don't really mess around with any of the other social medias. My brain can only handle one. Even on Discord, I'm like, I can't stay in all these Discords. And yeah. I don't know how anyone does it. They must just have their phone glued to them all day. Alright. Yeah. God of War wants to kill off Kratos. Yeah, I know. It seems to be happening for sure. I'm not ready for it. And I am not too happy with how Sony have handled killing off a lot of their main characters. I know they're different studios, different writers, but at the end of the day, you would think that Sony themselves would have the final say and go like, yeah, we're okay. This huge entity that has been, part of this series for fucking 20-30 years, yeah, we're okay with you killing him off. It's not as simple as that. I was just recently watching Indiana Jones, and it's like, holy shit, Indiana Jones Raiders of the Lost Ark just turned 40 years old. Can you believe that? 40? 1981. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. I feel old as dirt right now. Suicide Squad was very enjoyable. Nice. I don't always worry about them adding so many random characters like Polka Dot Man and King Shark, but you talk to comic book fans and they go, they're not random, motherfucker, this is my favorite character since I was 2 years old, and all this kind of stuff. So yeah, but I'm talking about the wider audience, like Europe and even the East, where people just haven't got into the comics as diehard as America has. I mean, America's had like comic book stores since the like 50s and stuff. We still don't have official comic book stores over here. We have like Forbidden Planet, but it's always merchant comics or fucking closing comics or a newsagent that just sells comics or Easton's Books that just has a tiny little comic book section. So yeah, we still don't have an official, which is crazy. There you go. By the time Ireland copped on to the comics, it was already the digital era, so now everybody just uses like, is it Comixology or something like that, where they just use the apps on to read them, which I never felt was the same. Unless you can get like an app that will spray the smell of fresh ink out of the speakers or something, like some smell-o-vision. It's just not the same. I need that fresh ink. I love comics. I read mostly all the like the Beano and the Dandy, not DC or Marvel, sadly. So you could not get them, but you could get Beanos and Dandies. That was just early 90s. Alright. Yeah, he's back from he had a double vacation. Confirm that Atreus, like we referred to in the end. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I hope they don't play that too much into the story. But we know in Norse mythology, is a very important character. I haven't seen Free Guy yet. Is it out already? I think so. I think so. It might have been just reviews. Boop. You take some time off. Yeah, I will. I never want to push it too far. Just for this, the second dose is supposed to be a doozy. I was planning to take time off for the first jab, you know. I even took time off work and nothing. I got nothing but a sore arm. I actually thought I was this close to going back in and going, did you miss? Did you not hit the skin or something? Because I didn't even feel anything, you know. I know they'll swab the area, but you know, it doesn't numb it or anything. So I was like, she didn't even nick the skin. This is weird. But yeah, once I got home, then you felt like a horse kicked your arm. But I end up streaming all the days, so it was fine. Besides just not being able to lift my arm. So yeah, we'll see about this. So I'm thinking that the fact that I got away, I got off scot-free for the first one. I think the second one's gonna knock me. Well, we'll see. Everybody's got, like, even with something as new as COVID, everybody's got their own little ideas. It's like, okay, do this with your arm, or do this, or like, there's still like those old wives' tales. It's like, drink fucking 7-Up, but make sure it's opened and flat and all that. I don't know why flat 7-Up is supposed to cure everything, but it's like Ireland's version of Robitussin. Robitussin! It's like, my arm just fell off. It's detached. I'll just rub some Robitussin on it. I don't know what that's about. It cracks me up. So over here, they're like, oh, just take some paracetamol. Just drink lots of water. It's just going to cure everything. So here we go. I've got like a pint of... Alright, I think that is all the news for today. For the daily dose of gaming, we talked about the Horizon Forbidden West delay. Probably will hear something about that this week, I think, at this point. We'll see. Who knows? I think it's up in the air. But it might leave Sony with no exclusive for the holiday season. In my opinion, Guerrilla can take as long as they need. We just want that beautifully polished game. Do what you gotta do, Guerrilla. We're behind you. We love you. Next, I went over the possibility of Xenoblade Chronicles 3 coming. One of the voice actors basically let it slip that Monolith Soft is probably working on it. We'll see about that. Sometimes voice actors can be way wrong because they think they're working on something, but they're just not privy to everything. Also, usually they sign NDAs, so if this ends up backfiring, you probably might not ever get to work in the business again. Super dangerous. And then finally, in terms of big news, we also heard about a new South Park game coming, and probably some new South Park movies as well, which is cool. It's 3D as well. So I hope it'll be something like, Stick of Truth. Stick of Truth was perfect because it was like that 15-hour RPG, Kind of like Chrono Trigger was back in the day. I always feel like that is the sweet spot right there. 15 hours, For an RPG, it gives you enough time. That's why I love these indie RPGs. Oh my god, so much fun. Sometimes you'll get a really great game that you're just getting into and it's finished, so it is what it is.